Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Okay, here in Parshas Chayei, it's famous for the shidduch between Yitzchak and Rivka. I'd like to focus on the very end of this story. The very end, Rivka comes back with Eliezer to Eretz Yisrael from Haran. And they greet, and Eliezer greets Yitzchak, and he tells him about all the nisim, and then he brings Rivka. And the pasuk says that Yitzchak married Rivka. And the pasuk says here, "Vayivieha Yitzchak ha'oila Sarah imo." Yitzchak brought Rivka into the tent of his mother Sarah. Kind of like a funny thing. What do you mean he brought it into the tent of his mother?
Why is that important to mention?
Yeah. What is it adding? What's it saying over here? Vayikach et Rivka vatihilo liisha, and he took Rivka and she was his wife. Vaye'ehaveha, and then he loved her. We'll talk about that a little bit. Vayinachem Yitzchak acharimo, and he had a nechama after his mother died. That we already know. Rashi here says on that it's normal. It's the derech eretz. It's the way of the world that a man gets a nechama from his mother's passing through his wife. That's what Rashi brings over here. But there's something else that's so interesting over here. Like I said, Ha'olah Sarah imo. He brought Rivka into his mother Sarah's tent. So Rashi here says an amazing thing. Rashi says that he brought her. What does it mean? It means that when he brought her into the tent, she became like Sarah. Rivka became like Sarah. What does that mean that she became like Sarah? How did Rivka become like Sarah? So Rashi says, because there were 3 nisim that happened in the tent of Avram and Sarah. And those 3 nisim stopped. They stopped happening as soon as Sarah Imenu passed away. And then as soon as Yitzchak married Rivka and brought her into the tent, all of a sudden these 3 miracles that happened in the tent of his mother are now back here. What are they? So Rashi says, Noyer dolok me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. There was a candle. The candle lit the entire week. They lit the candles on Erev Shabbos, and it stayed lit the entire week. A miracle. The second, bracha metzuya be'isa. It doesn't tell us what the bracha was in the Isa. Was it that it satiated with only very little bit, that there was always enough? It doesn't say there was a certain special uniqueness in the food that had left when Sarah Imenu passed away, and now it came back. And the last one was anan kashur al oil. There was this cloud that was always on the oil that left, and now it came back. And all of these 3 things came back when Yitzchak married Rivka. Chazal teach us that these 3 things are also represented in the Mishkan. The Mishkan had these 3 nisim also, and the Beis HaMikdash also. Number 1 was the Ner Dolok. The menorah was lit, at least at some points, maybe during the Zman of the Mishkan, or let's say the first Bayis Rishon, was lit for a very, very long span of time. Only in the second Beis HaMikdash you didn't have these nisim all the time. And the bracha shebe'isa in the Beis HaMikdash, the bread, the lechem upon him stayed fresh for an entire week. And the third was the anan. Hashem Shechina was on the Mishkan. Why is it dafka when Rivka comes? Or why is it dafka Sarah? The reason why is because really to make a home, there needs to be a husband and a wife. A husband can sit and learn Torah and be involved in ruchnias, but it's not really the way that a Jewish family is supposed to be. There has to be a husband and wife. Chazal also teach us that when they counted the people in the midbar, see how many people there were, they only counted people who were married. Because if you weren't married, you weren't a whole person. So we can't count you. These aspects of a unity between a husband and a wife, that's what brings the Shechina. That's what the Anan represents. That's what these mitzvos represent. We know, Ashkenazim at least, who say Bameh Madlikin on Lil Shabbos. So Bameh Madlikin, it says in that parak that Al Shlosha Averos, Nashi Mesos B'Shas Leidasan. that a woman will die in childbirth if she's not makbid on these 3 mitzvos. But another way of saying it is, there are 3 special mitzvos for a woman. Hadlakas haner, lighting the Shabbos candles, and challah, right, which represents also the bracha shebeisa, and nida, and that's what brings the Shechina into the home. These 3 mitzvahs, a woman has tremendous koyach in these 3 mitzvahs, and that is what brings the Shechina into the home. These mitzvahs, yes, theoretically a man can light nearest Shabbos too, and also a man can be a baker and he can also be mafish challah. But lemaisa, these mitzvahs were given to a woman because she's the one who's establishing their home. There's a lot in these mitzvahs, a tremendous amount. You can spend a tremendous amount of time going through each nakuda in these mitzvahs. I'm actually planning on writing a sefer on this. Might take a little while. But the maisa, these are the ingredients to making a real home. These the koichos in these mitzvahs, and that's why the Shechina is shruya. And that's where you see an amazing thing. The pasuk says that first he brought Rivka into his home, and he married her, and then he loved her. That's what the pasuk says. He brought Yitzchak brought her into the oil of Sarah, and he took her as a wife, and then he loved her. Why? Because in order to really have that kesher, you have to appreciate what the other one is doing for you. You have to appreciate each other, and only when Yitzchak Avinu, Yitzchak didn't know Rivka before they were married. He didn't have the opportunity to see her chesed. He didn't have the opportunity to see the milas of the midos that blew Eliezer away. But what did he see? When he brought her into the house, he saw, wow, she's making this home a true Torah home. And it's that appreciation for all the amazing things that she is doing to build this home, that is one of the greatest sources of love. When you appreciate what the other one is doing, and you appreciate their great milas. For boys are not as sensitive to the milas that a girl has. Yes, she's sanua, she's a balas chesed. There's certain, these catchphrases, these catchwords that that's what we're looking for in a shidduch. But there's so many other things, so many deeper things that you don't even realize that they're there. When you learn to appreciate those things, the very unique feminine aspects that build a home, that's the opportunity for a real love. Because that brings out certain qualities you would never even guess. You would never even realize that they're there. And it's those things, that appreciation for all things, that's what brings the Shechina. That's fun.
Wow.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.